Alright, well, welcome back to the channel. We appreciate you being here. Today we're going to be taking a look at a bullpup shotgun coming out of Turkey from Hatsan. You never know what you're going to get from Turkey. They can make some good stuff over there. Not so good stuff as well, but I've shot plenty of firearms from Turkey that I've been very happy with and I've liked. And this one interested us when we saw it. We wanted to try it out. So as you see, it is the BTS12. So it is chambered in 12 gauge, and should be fun. So let's take a look at it. There are a couple problems that I personally have with it, but let's take a closer look at it and let's go over some of it before we shoot it. All right, so here we go. All right, my first major problem with this is I'm a left-handed shooter. So you can see here where the shells are going to be extracting from and where all the magic happens. It's we're going to be right in front of my face. Here, let me show you real quick. All right, so see, that's just not going to work for me. So we will be forced to shoot wrong-handed today on this. No problem. We'll just shoot with the right today. You see, it does have an adjustable cheek rest. You can move that up and down as you want. Comes with a handle. It's adjustable back and forward sights. No problem. You could pop this off easily as well and do some different open sights if you want. Whatever you prefer. You can throw a red dot on there. Whatever you prefer, a flashlight or something. Whatever you wish to do. All right, well, another little problem is here. Let me kind of show you how that'll work. All right. You see, if you hold it normally, you are right up on there. Your inside of your wrist is resting right on top of that frame right there. So what I am going to do is give myself a little bit of room, kind of come off that a little bit, because that might not feel so good with 12 gauge going through. This is chambered for 3-inch, so it could be quite a bang if you want. Today, however, we're going to just put some 12 gauge through it, some 2 3/4-inch 8 shots, so just some bird stuff, nothing rough. But let's go ahead and shoot it and see what we think, and then we'll get back to it. All right. All right, so here we go. We're gonna try this bad boy out. See what we got. That shoots very well. Let's head back over to the table and discuss it. All right, so it's a 5-round mag, and you can have one chambered, so you can have 6 rounds. It's chambered for 3-inch, so I can imagine some 3-inch buckshot in there would be entertaining to use if you needed to. Great home defense weapon, great home offense weapon. It's just a good little gun. As for me, being a left-handed shooter, it's a pass for me. I'm just not interested in this firearm. However, it is a good firearm. Has a lot of advantages to it. Shoots well. Does not kick hard. Again, we were shooting some 8-shot, 2 3/4-inch 8 shots, so it wasn't very hard ammo anyway, but shot great. Really enjoyed shooting it, even though I had to shoot it with the wrong hand. It's okay. It's always good to shoot with your offhand from time to time. But let's go ahead and take this back to the shop. This did come with chokes, so you can do a different scatter pattern if you want. We'll take it back, we'll take a look at that, we'll clean it up a little bit, show you what it looks like inside, and just finish up the review. But I do appreciate you watching. If you don't mind, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, leave a like. It would really help the channel. The algorithm over at the tube does definitely not favor gun channels, and that's okay, that's fine. But anything you can do to help us out, we'd appreciate it. So hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment, let us know what you think. All right, well, let's take it on back, finish it up.
All right, folks, we're back from the range now. We're going to talk a little bit more in depth about the Hatsan Escort 12 gauge shotgun. Here was a bullpup shotgun, and I want to show you just right quick that we have an empty chamber, okay, and we'll take the mag out of it and continue with some of the features of this firearm. We have an adjustable sight that is built into your carry handle, so you have an adjustable rear sight. The adjustment is built into the carry handle itself, and also on the front side is adjustable with the little ring right here. You can raise it up and down, and if you choose to, you can take the carry handle off of it and replace that with the set of sights that are included with the package. Here we have an adjustable flip up sights. We pull the handle down here. Let's see if I can flip it up. Let's see, there you go, pops up like that, like the typical Magpul style sights that could be accessories on an AR rifle. They also will fit on the rail of this shotgun. And with that, you have the also comes with the adjustment key where you can adjust your front sight up and down. That's also included in the package with it. Okay, it's a pretty neat deal right there. All right, a couple of other features of this firearm. We have several Picatinny rails on top and on both sides where you can attach different accessories to it. And here it comes with an attachment for your sling, and also quick disconnect swivel that comes with it. You put that on either side of the firearm here on the stock. The cheek piece also is adjustable up and down, so we can raise that up and down as you need to, depending on how high your sights are and what fits you personally. All right, we have that option for you. And as typical, you got your magazine release button here and your bolt slide catch. And make sure your finger's not in the way when you close that. So we've got it closed now. What I want to do now is go through the disassembly of it. Before I do that, I want to do one more thing, and we've got it closed now. We know the chamber is empty. I'm going to do a trigger pull test and see what our trigger pull looks like with our trusty RCBS gauge here. And our safety is off. All right. And it is a fairly stout trigger pull. It is about 9 pounds, it looks like. So that's do that one more time. Rather stout for a shotgun, but at the same time, this is designed to be a defensive type weapon. And I'm going to show you some chucks that you can put in it to make it more user options. So you can do different things with it other than just home defense. All right, and here we have about a 9 pound trigger pull. So it's not the best in the world, but again, it's not meant to be a bench type firearm to start with. So you will have to have a good bit of pull on the trigger to make it work. All right, with that being said, to take this gun apart to clean it. All right, first thing we're going to do is take our bolt handle out, which is ambidextrous. Okay, you can slide the bolt handle out. Well, so you can slide it out, pull it out. It has a spring ball detent inside on your top of your bolt, which holds your handle in. You can put it on either side, whichever you prefer. Take that out. I'm going to take out our screw-in muzzle device in this case, which is also doubles as your choke tube. And for this one that comes in here, we have is a open cylinder style choke tube, which is the largest bore, and also comes in the package. In this case, we have a couple of the chokes. This one is our full choke, which is going to be your smallest, tightest pattern. And with that, we have with this one, improved cylinder choke. So other than your device with the flash hider built into it, Your improved cylinder will be the next size up that is slightly smaller than that. And you can get other chokes too between those two. Either very large opening or smaller, tighter pattern. All right. Now, to continue with our disassembly, we're going to remove our barrel shroud. And you hear if you pay attention, maybe you heard it on the camera, that when I started to unscrew it, you had some clicking detents. Okay, and on the barrel shroud you have a ridge here where it locks into the ball detent that is inside the receiver, and I'm going to show you that when we take it apart. All right, so that will keep it from just falling off when you're shooting a gun. It is held in by a spring ball detent. Okay, and then next, to get it apart, we're going to slide this upper assembly forward. Okay, and now your shroud comes off. And that being said, be careful when you take this off, because your ball detent I referred to on your shroud, that can fall out. Here it is right there. But if it does, don't worry about it. Okay, it's obvious the way thing fits back in when you put it together. You have one side of this ring has a ball detent on it, the other side does not. So you want to place it back in so that the ball detent is facing outward. That way your barrel shroud will lock into place when you put it back on. Okay, that's pretty cool. Keep it from coming apart. Now, our next step to take this gun apart, we will be taking these takedown pins, one front, one rear. Pull those out. Okay, and tilt it up slightly. And with your cheek piece up as high as it'll go, this gives you enough room that your barrel assembly will come out of the receiver, and here's your barrel assembly. All right, upper, as compared to an AR rifle, for example, you might call this your upper assembly. All right, upper receiver. Move that out of the way. And now to take out the rest of your parts, to be able to clean it if you wanted to. To get the bolt out of the receiver, we're going to turn left-handed our gas tube or gas piston nut, and when you pull this, you have to pull the nut down a little bit, and pull your gas piston rather. You have two lock collars, split collar that fits on either side of the barrel that retains your piston, and you can slide the piston off. Your piston assembly also is in two parts. So you can take these apart and clean the carbon from your piston ring and seal. And then to be able to take the barrel out and remove the bolt if you wanted to clean all the internal parts and get the bolt out. For that, you're going to need a couple of screwdrivers. And to do this correctly, what I would recommend is hollow ground screwdrivers, which means that rather than your standard, I will say homeowner screwdrivers, the blades are cut at an angle. On a hollow ground screwdriver, the blade is ground so that the tip of the blade is flat on both sides, just a little bit, so that it fits down into the screw deeper rather than being tapered. You get a much better grip on your screw head that way. And that's what any gunsmithing situation, you want to have the best screwdriver fit you can so you don't booger up the head of screws. So with this gun, we have to remove the locking screw. I'll hold this up to the camera so we can see that. On your transfer bars here, your connecting bars, what do you want to call them, to your gas block assembly, you have a locking screw and a screw that holds the bars to your slide. Okay. Now we're going to take our locking screw out. And if somebody don't like the terminology I'm using, I'm sorry, that's just life. Because I don't, but if you look in the book, as far as the owner's manual goes, they may call this different than what I'm calling them. But then again, it's made in Turkey. And I am not in Turkey. I'm just calling it like I see it. So we take both of those screws out. And now another tool that comes with the gun, this trusty little wrench right here. This is your choke tube wrench, and also doubles as your spanner wrench to be able to take the barrel out. So now we've got our lug loose. Now we can put our spanner wrench on it and loosen a barrel nut. Okay, I'll get that where it turns freely. And I can put a little bit of tension on the spring and turn this by hand. It's a little bit snug, but we can turn your barrel nut out, and just a few rounds, I believe that will come out for us. There you go. See, it just came loose. Now you can pull your whole barrel assembly and bolt out together. Here you go. And now there is your upper receiver completely stripped. You can get in here and clean it real good. In any case, when you put it back together, I'd suggest possibly a little lubrication on any surfaces that are sliding so that you keep it from wearing so much. And also, now that we have our barrel out and we've taken the screws off of this, what do you want to call it up here, locking lug, we can push the spring tension down so you don't lose your loose parts flying off the barrel. You take a transfer bar off, and now you can pull the bolt out of the barrel. Right. And now here you can have complete access to your bolt assembly to be able to clean the carbon and crud off of your bolt. A little lubrication, and stick it back together. All right. And we're putting it back together. We'll go ahead and do that too while we got it here. I know this is quite possibly a new firearm for a lot of folks. And for what I've seen so far, actually, I think I like this gun pretty good. We're gonna try to get a couple more of them, and maybe longevity-wise, see how they hold up. But it's a pretty neat design to have a bullpup in a shotgun like this, and not cost a fortune. Actually, it's a very reasonably priced gun, I think, for what it is. And we're going to put our bolt back in place, and make sure when you do that, you have the bolt in place such that the locking lug is positioned in the top of your receiver, the receiver part of your barrel, and that your ejector is in this slot. And now, with that, we can connect our transfer bar back to the bolt, pull this locking lug, or whatever you want to call it. And I'm sorry, maybe I should look in the book and figure out exactly what terminology the book or the manufacturer uses for this block. Put that block back down. We'll use our screw, our main screw here that holds everything down. We'll use our little bit larger screwdriver tip for that one. Screw it down till it's snug. And you can't turn it just far enough that the notches that are on this screw head line up with the slot, so that the screw head on your holding screw will keep it from backing out. All right. And it's obvious when you see this in person. It's kind of hard sometimes to see it on the video. We're going to put our locking screw back in position so that the main screw does not back out. The main screw don't have to be very tight. You can snug it down to where the notches line up with your locking screw hole. And what the locking screw is what holds it all together to start with. And I'm thinking what I've actually done is I've got my main screw a little bit too far. I'll back up just a tiny bit with it so I can get the locking screw to go back in its home position here. All right, here we go. That's it. So your main screw don't have to be very tight. It is just far enough that it lines up with the locking screw. Now your locking screw, you want to have it kind of snug. All right, there you go. And now we're going to slip our barrel assembly back into the upper receiver. Okay, now we can push our spring down just enough to take tension off the barrel and start our barrel nut back in place. Put it down as far as we can with our fingers. You can hear it clicking. That is because the detent is riding on the notches on the barrel nut. You have a spring detent ball also down here on this lug that helps keep your barrel nut from coming loose. We take our spanner wrench, get it snug. That's all you need. It don't have to be overly tight at all. All right, now we're going to place our gas piston back over the barrel. pull it down over the barrel with our, now we put our split ring back in its slot right here. One half. All right, the other half. And now we can pull our gas piston back up over that split ring, hold it in place. Then our nut goes back on the back side of, all right, top of our piston. Okay, now, by golly, we got that one done. Let's go back and put this into our receiver. So now we have our lower receiver, which you have full access to clean out your trigger assembly. I want to cock my trigger before I put it back into, put up the strip bolt back in it, or the barrel back in it rather. Okay, now got my hammer back out of the way. And we're going to pull our barrel back into position. We'll slide it back over the top of the hammer, just right. Make sure your takedown pins are pulled out of the way, and your upper barrel assembly should just drop right back down into your receiver. You push your takedown pins in. Okay, they're back in place. And now we can reposition our upper shroud. And here again, that little collar fell out, so I'm gonna put it back in place with, remember, our detent facing out. And now we slide our shroud over our barrel assembly. And if I hold it just right, let's see here. There it goes. It drops back into place, and you see the key slots. As long as you get it just right, it'll fall right back into place. And now I'm going to put my barrel shroud over the barrel, screw it back down, and now you can hear clicking. That's clicking back into position so that the detent locks the barrel shroud in place. And lastly, you can screw back in your muzzle device, in this case. And also, I'm going to show you this while I've got it apart. I'm this close here. Rather than putting the muzzle device on it, let's say I wanted to do something different kind of shooting with it. I want to use my tightest pattern, my full choke pattern, which is this one, right? Full choke. I want a tighter pattern for my next operation. So I'll screw back in our tightest pattern full choke. Get it close with my fingers here. And also I would suggest that anytime you put screw-in chokes in any shotgun, that you put a dab of grease or some kind of lubrication on it, so that you